Hi, this video is an introduction on how to graph using Google Sheets. If you're already really comfortable with graphing using Google Sheets, feel free to just use a scatter plot and then kind of quickly scan this video for other things you need to do. But for those of you new to it, you can use this video as a reference all year long. So we're going to be using activity 0.1 as our example today, but this works for pretty much any of our activities we do in class. The first thing I want to do is I want to open up a new Google Sheet. So I'm going to say new tab. I'm going to go to drive.google.com. So it's basically just going to Google Drive. There are other ways to get there. Feel free to get there any other way. So I go to Google Drive. Once I'm on Google Drive, I'm going to say new, and I'm going to say Google Sheet. Now, Google Sheet is a spreadsheet. It's kind of like Excel, but online, etc. Now, once I go to new spreadsheet, I'm going to title my spreadsheet. This one is for activity 0.1, so I'm going to say graphing for activity 0.1 so that I can find it easily later on. I'm going to go back to my activity. I'm going to click and drag to highlight all of my data, and then I'm going to go to Edit and Copy. Now, you can also use the keyboard shortcut Control-C to copy your data. Once I've copied my data, I'm going to go to the spreadsheet and I'm going to paste it. You can press Control V, or you can go to Edit and then Paste. Same thing. Now, first thing you'll notice is that these columns are a little narrow, so I'm just going to widen them a little bit so that they are easier to read what's going on. Make them a little bit wider than that. Oh, that one's fine. Let's make this one a little bit wider and a little bit wider yet. Cool. Now it's just easier for me to read. You don't have to do that. I just like to. Okay, next I need to highlight just my data, so I'm going to highlight right here. There's a blank row that's often inserted. We can just ignore it, but don't highlight it. Then I'm going to go to Insert, and we're going to go to Chart. Now, once we go to Insert Chart, we are going to be using a scatter plot. So under Chart Type, we change it from Column Chart, and we scroll down and we choose Scatter. Now, if it initially shows you two different things and we only really had one X and one Y set of data, it means it's graphing it incorrectly. I can also tell because it doesn't have any numbers on the bottom. So what I really want is to be using the time as the X-axis numbers. So I scroll down over here on the right-hand side, and I just tell it to use column A as the labels. Now we have time on the X-axis. We can double check by looking at the first one was 0 and then 0.5, 0 and 0.5. Cool, looks good. And then we have distance on the y-axis. Now we're not done yet. We need to customize it a little bit. So the first thing we're going to do to customize is I'm going to click over here on the Customize button. We're going to change our chart title. Now this activity was about doing walking time versus the distance from the detector. But we usually frame it in terms of the y-axis first and then the x-axis. So we say distance, capitalize distance, distance from detector versus time for person walking at a constant speed. Now we always want to say what the data was from or for, so that people reading our chart know what they're looking at. It's distance versus time, but what is it for? Is it person running? Is it walking? What is it doing? Next, we're going to change our horizontal axis title. So I'm going to click on the chart title pull down. I'm going to change that to horizontal axis title. My horizontal axis, that's the x-axis, is just the walk time. So I'm going to mimic what the walk time says over here, or what the axis title says over there. So I'm just going to say walk time, comma, t is the variable, slash s for the units, and that's it. I don't need to include the uncertainty on that one in the title. Next, I'll change this to vertical axis title, and we'll write in our vertical axis title. Distance from detector, comma, d, slash, and then m is the units because it was in meters. Now, if you wanted to change the font size, you could do that for right here, or change the font style or color. All of that info is right there. But for now, we are done with that. So I'm going to minimize it. Next thing we want to do is add in error bars and then a line of best fit. So I'm going to pull down the series, and then I'm going to scroll down a little bit. And we need to add in error bars. Now when I click this, Google automatically adds 10% error bars. That's a default, but that's not what we had for this experiment. For this experiment, we can see right here that for the y-axis it was plus or minus 0.2. And so I'm going to change from percent to constant, and I'm going to change it to 0.2. Now we have proper sized error bars. We can see them around the data point very lightly. Next, I'm going to go to trend line because we need to fit our line of best fit through. Once we have our trend line in, there are a few different options. This one looks pretty much like a straight line, so we'll use linear, but sometimes we'll be using polynomial for quadratic equations or patterns, and we'll be using power series anytime we're doing inverse, inverse square, or it also works for quadratic. We will not use any of the other ones this year, with the exception of exponential. We'll use once, but you should not use that on a day-to-day basis. We'll tell you when to use it. Oh, undid the trend line. So we have a trend line. The last thing I want to know is, what is my equation for the trend line? So we're doing all of this so that we can have Google pull out the equation for us and we don't have to do it ourselves. Google hides it underneath the label. So what you do is for the label, you change it from none and you say use equation, and now it will show us the equation for this right there. So that it's easier for us to do. All right, so we have a graph. We now need to copy it back into our document. So I'm going to go to the little 3 dots in the corner of the graph. I'm going to say copy chart. And I'm going to go to activity 0.1 or back to my activity, whether it's 0.1 or whatever it is. And then we paste. You can either press Control V or you can go to Edit and then Paste. Now when you paste, it's going to ask you, do you want to link to the spreadsheet? I always say yes, and here's the reason why. For example, if we decided, oh, we actually wanted to change the color of our graph, or maybe we wanted to update the data, we could go to our graph and, for example, we could change the color from blue to black. And maybe we change our data points from blue to black as well. So if we do that, then what's going to happen is if it's linked, when we go to our place where we pasted the chart, it'll ask us, do we want to update it? And it'll update to show us the new formatting. If you change the data, like a data point goes from 0.5 to 5 instead, it will update everything. So it'll reflect whatever you see in that spreadsheet. Makes it nice and easy so you don't have to keep copying and pasting every time there's a new update to something. That's it for how to graph. Hope this was helpful. And that's all.